guys, this is Joy Ani, scrapping in my own private Idaho, and today I'm doing my Title Tuesday. I do know that it's a Wednesday, but I'm always just a little bit behind, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started on this. I am killing two birds with one stone, and today I am going to use the sketch from my wonderful upline. So my upline in Stampin' Up! Is Tina Lovell out of Salem, Oregon, and her upline is Dana. And Dana makes beautiful sketches for her team to do a challenge on. And I don't know if you can see that one or not. I tried to print it out, but my printer is quite angry. So, and I always think I'm going to follow this sketch so close, and then I get to wandering. So I'll, I think I do follow it kind of close. I got the general idea, but today I'm just going to have lots of fun. So go ahead, and this might be a little bit longer than my average ones because I've done a lot of stuff to this layout. So in her layout, she has strips of paper from Perfectly Pear, and it's a great way you can see all the papers that are in this pack. And she used the Lovely Day, which I have, but I loaned it to my friend, so I didn't have that, and then I got to thinking, calendars are coming up. I do calendars every year for about I make about 5 or 6 calendars for friends and family, and I always need Thanksgiving pages. So this is what I came up with. And on Title Tuesday, I normally give you a Cricut file, and I am going to give you some Cricut files, but we're going to basically build this layout, and we're going to build it, we're going to build the title. And the only thing that I'm using in the title that is Cricut is this lovely thing right here. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to get very inky today. So as always, because I am a little bit on the cheap side, so you can see that I've gutted my paper. And from this paper, I was able then to get my 4 photo mats. And from this one I also gutted, and then I got the 4 mats for that. So it's actually saving you about 2 pieces of paper when you gut, and that's why you want to gut your paper. When I'm doing a 2-page spread, I like to have it meet in the center. So the center is like this, and that's what I'm going to do first. So I have piles of fun, and I'm going to talk a little bit about these. I have a thing for leaves, and last year I bought the hybrid die cut from Stampin' Up! And like I needed any, like I needed anything with leaves on it. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to work on this page first. And so we're going to do 3 or 4 little hints on how to use ink to add. So this entire layout is made, there's no DSP on this whatsoever. It is all cardstock, and it is all ink. So, and this was my little experiment. So, instead of, you remember on Dana's layout, she had little strips. Well, this is called ink painting. I learned it from my wonderful friend, Kelly Baxter Fitzgerald, and if you don't watch her, you are missing out, my friend. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this, and so I've cut this paper, so the white paper. Actually, before we adhere that down, let's do all the things to it first, and then we'll put it on it. That way I can maneuver it a little bit more. Okay, so the first thing that I did was, this is called ink painting, and it's a wonderful technique. And what's great about it is, if you are needing paper and you don't have the right colors, this is a great way to do it. Now, I'm not going to show you because I was afraid I'd mess up, and I wasn't for sure if this would work. So when Kelly did her ink painting, she might have still been in, we might have been still close to my heart at that point. But when she did this technique, she used the wide stamp pads, and I was thinking, oh, I wonder if these will work. So I'm going to show you on a small piece of paper because you know, doing things that you're actually going to use in front of the camera is never a good thing. So with ink painting, what it is you take your mint tape. So how I got this, you'll see that there is no ink on this side. So I decided where I wanted my border to be, and so I put my little ink pen, and you can see where I stopped right there. I'm going to put it right here. And this is how you make a stripe. And with the ink pads, so I only own 3 large size Stampin' Up! Pads. And the only reason I own them is because I accidentally goofed on ordering. I have these are the only ones I have. I use all Stampin' Spots. I have every Stampin' Up! Color. I buy these little uninked pads, and then I buy the reinkers, and it works great for me. A lot of times, at least 6 or 7 days out of the month, I am traveling around and scrapbooking. And those of you who know me and scrap with me know I bring everything, including the kitchen sink. So this is, I'll show you these 4 containers, and some of them are empty. This one's kind of empty. They're alphabetical, all Stampin' Up! Colors, and every color they have. And so I can literally carry these in the bag, and I don't break my back, which, you know, I do have back issues. So, and so I was wondering, I was thinking, oh, are they going to use everything? Will I be able to do all the things that I can with a regular ink pad? And the answer is yes. You can do everything that you do with a regular size ink pad. I've been able to do. So we're going to do this technique, and it is called, my minty tape is not very sticky anymore. But if the problem is if you use, I have used washi tape in the past and have been very sorry because sometimes it pulls up and then you don't have, it will bring some of the color up, and that makes this all sad. So I am going to just go ahead and make my stripes. Now on mine, I was not fussy. There is white space in between mine, and I'm okay with that. But if you wanted to be really fussy and wanted to have more of a true stripe, you could put your minty tape. Probably don't want to. I might take a little rag and go along that to make sure if I was being super particular, which y'all know I'm never particular. Okay, so then, and so this is how easy this is, and this is how I created this paper. I do see a little bit on the top. And then I have like that. So that is your stripes. That is how you make the stripes. You just start at the top, bring it, and it's not perfect, but it's not meant to be. It's meant to be very grunge. Grunge is not the right word. Organic. It's supposed to be a kind of an organic technique. I'm going to bring this light over here and see if I can see. My one light decided not to work anymore. Okay, so back to my thanks. So on this thanks, I am going to have the word thanks, and you will see I've used Cajun Craze, and this is Cajun Craze right here. I used the color palette from, because originally I was going to use the beautiful autumn paper that I had used on my last video. And I was all set to do that, and then I thought, but I like the plainness of this. And so this has been trimmed to the size I want it. So how I'm going to center this is I'm putting it over at 0. Yeah, let's put it, let's do it this way, because I have such a crooked eye. Okay, so I have it at 0 here, but before I do this, well, goodness, this is not, I don't usually use this glass mat. That's why I'm on the struggle bus. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to put it here. So if I am trying to center my letters, I would put, and I'm going to just kind of I'm putting these up here because I wanted to know where they're going to be. And then I'm going to, because Cricut, would normally if it's a Cricut title, I just put, I click on overlay, and it makes it goes around the letters and gives me another layer. Because this is actually our alphabet set. It's the spendy one. It's $99. And these letters are almost 2.5 inches, and I thought they're so big I'm never going to be able to use them. But that is not true. I have used them all the time. So I am going to so I don't want it to be stark white. So I'm going to use the technique that I used and was demonstrated in our album retreat. I am just going to put a little bit. I'm going to just put a little teeny tiny bit, and I'm going, this is olive, old olive, and I'm using soft sea foam, which is almost, it's like a really watered down version of old olive, which looks great. And so if you have a glass mat, I don't have a Stampin' Up! One, I know a lot of you guys do. I got this at a garage sale, and so that was good for me. So I'm just putting it right here. I'm going to put a little bit of water on here. I am not using watercolor paper. I could have. In fact, this has so much. I stuck my finger right in it. Okay, so I'm going to just circle it around, and I'm starting in the middle. That way, if I make a mistake, it's not going to be earth-shattering. So I'm kind of starting right in here. I'm just going to go. I just want it to be a little bit, because and then I'm just circling around. This is super it's not very dark, and I'm going to put a little bit right down here because I'm having pumpkins and other things right down here, I see that I made a little goober right there, which means I'm going to have to put a leaf or something right there, because there's no mistakes, only opportunities to embellish. So I'm putting it right down here. So I kind of have my little triangle going on. Now I'm going to place my thanks. And to place my thanks, thanks is T-H-A-N-K-S. There are 6 letters, so the third letter in should be right at, about 5.5. So I'm going to put that here. I'm putting it about 1 inch from the bottom, because I have a very large title that I'm placing on top of it. So I'm going to put this about a half inch from the top. And remember, I also have my espresso. The dog is scratching at the door, but I am not going to let her in. And so if you hear a dog who's trying to speak to me and tell me that they're mistreated, it's my grand dog. If you think you spoil your grand dogs are like grandchildren. You spoil them more than you would probably spoil your own children. So, oh, I also meant to show you, but because I'm doing cardstock and I didn't want to make it boring, I also embossed these letters. So that's the nice thing about well, you could even do Cricut letters if you wanted to. So I'm going to put this one right. I said 5.5. Let's put this one right about here. And this tape is repositionable. If I decide I goofed, that's okay. The real challenge of starting in the middle to have it centered like this, the real challenge is you have to spell backwards, or you know, you don't spell from the beginning. So that can always be a bit of a challenge. I feel like I'm way too far to the right side, but that's okay. So I'm going to put this right here. So this is, yeah, I feel like I'm going to put it, before I put more down, you know what, I'm okay with this because I'm going to put, I'm also putting it right here, and if I don't, if I feel like it's too naked, I could put things over here. So I am going to just go ahead and do that. Now my tea, I'm going to I'm going to put on last because I've got this large, I want to make a cluster. Can you hear my dog? She's really, I'm suddenly interesting because she is winning it. But I know that my son-in-law is going to come, and if she's in here when he comes home, I will have to stop filming so he can come through the door because she gets so irate. So I'm going to have this here, and my goal was, and I had a little, oops. So what I do, I have all of these things that when I make things, I make extra things. Do you guys do that? So if I'm getting out the Cricut or whatever, I make extra things, and then I throw them in a little bag and so I put all my fall. See, I don't like that because it needs to be a T. We're going to work on this cluster right now where we're putting this T down. Okay, so that can go there because it still needs to look like a T, but I also would like it to be not so. Okay, now I'm going to, what do you think? That looks good. And I'm going to pop the nut. Okay, so I'm going to do this right here, and I always put light because sometimes I walk away, and then and this is a page I've been working on it for probably about a week, and it started off so differently because, like I said, I started off with I was going to do the pattern paper. I was going to do it exactly. You know, I was going to use paper instead of ink, and then I thought, well, it'll be fun to revisit this technique. Okay, so I'm going to pop dot this. Now, you know what? I'm just going to use your imagination. So remember when you come on, that's the final cut because sometimes I do change things as I go along. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to, well, I actually have to, well, let's put these embellishments too. So I have 3 pumpkins. Hopefully I had, these were leftovers, but I will try to find the file that I used because I love these pumpkins. They're so, they're just great. So I'm going to put these right here. And I will pop some of them up, but I don't want to pop things up until, I'll do it off camera because if you change your mind, once you put a pop dot down, it's down. It's not one of those things that you could like, I think I changed my mind. Not so much. So that's these 3. And then these are just piles of leaves that I had. Oops! I know why this looks so naked. So this goes here like this. And I'm going to just set it down there. And I'm just kind of getting used to it, and then we'll put it down permanently when I add the pictures on. So I feel like feels like is it crooked? I don't know. So these are all 3x4. That's the other thing I loved about this layout was there is, oh, actually I can't put those on until afterwards. Sorry. I'm going to put these grins. I'm tucking things in until I'm sure I like them. And then I will add, this is actually the hybrid embossing folder. I took the embossing portion of it and I just inked it up with early espresso. And so it puts a little bit of the ink and then you run it through and it puts a little bit of the ink through, and I love that look. So I'm going to put these here. I might add some more as I go along, but I'm really kind of happy with that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get our base down here. This is where I struggle. I love gutting paper, but I have the hardest time attaching it. So I'm gonna put it here. And this is early espresso, but I think this was some of the stuff that I got at a garage sale, and it is textured. I'm not a big fan of textured cardstock. Just yeah, some people love it. I think it's great for boxes and stuff, but I am using it up. It is such a beautiful color. Oh, and remember, I'm coming all the way. That's the other thing I had to make sure is that I'm getting it, because one side, let's do this correctly. So one side is shorter than the other. So this is, okay, no, this one side is, oh, well, actually, it has to go that way. It doesn't matter. Okay, I got it. Because this side is longer, is a ½ inch less off this, because it goes all the way to the center. And I'm definitely standing up to do this one. My dog is still crying, so you can still feel sorry for it if you'd like to. That's right here. And then I've added the little green. So one of the things that they gave us at Album Retreat, which I dearly love, is we got 3 stamp sets, and this is my favorite stamp from the Album Retreat. It is just a little teeny tiny, I call it a foofy. And so I very lightly inked here. You probably can't even see it. I can barely see it. And so I'm just going to, with the old olive, I'm just going to put little splatters. Oh, and I want to put this here. And and I will just set these here, because I don't want to splatter and do all this stuff if it's going to be covered up, because that's just too much work. And I do have I liked this very much because you have so many pictures for Thanksgiving, and it's just great to be able to put all of them on there. And so I'm going to move this up a little bit, and you can still see my lovely paint things. Okay, that's great. And so now I'm just going to add splatters, and I'm going to do a second generation. I want to start off light, because you can always go back. So if I just put that here, see how that just adds just a little something. Just a little something. I'm going to put something up here, down here. So, and you can work in like a triangle. There's 1, 2, and then I'm going to have to do something with this little spot here. It might have to get, oh, well, it's less noticeable. So I am a very flat scrapper, and I tend not to, I'm not a big time embellisher, but somewhere I had like little sequins and these. So I'm going to put these little sequins on if I can find them. Oh, there we go. Maybe I'm not going to add them. See, maybe that's why I don't add things, is because, oh, here they are. So I'm just going to just slide this off and put that there, and I'm going to put 2 little gems over here. And that's kind of a visual triangle. Just put that one there. I don't have too many of these, so I better not get too carried away. I'll put one over here by the S. Okay, so I need one over here. And I'll get 2 for the other page. Okay. And I feel like he needs a friend way over here, doesn't he? Okay. Look at me going at my embellishing. Okay, so I'm going to put these down. And I'm going to put the giving down. So this is a matter of preference. I really like solid block printing with the block printing. But I do like it. It has to look like, it kind of bugs me if the letters don't look like it and I can't read it. It's too many years trying to read kids' papers. It's like, I don't want to read scrapbooks that you can't read. Okay. And this is also on the Cricut file that I will include in the description below. Okay, so I am so happy with that page. So, and one of these days I'm going to follow the sketches perfectly. Dana, you'll be so proud of me if you if you get a chance to watch this. Okay, so I'm going to, and I'll put those on there later. So, okay, so I'm going to move this aside, and we're going to work on the left side, which is very similar to, the right side, which is very similar to the left side. We're going to do the same type of treatments. So we have added ink in 3 different ways. We have sponged, we have stamped, splattered, and we have painted. So we are getting very inky today, so we want to get our money's worth. That's the whole point, is you want to get your money's worth. So let me go ahead and slide this one over, and we'll talk about this guy a little bit. So I do like to be, you know, kind of consistent. So I had to actually redo this, and you can see where I added onto the, so what happened was I started doing this in so many different ways. So I'm taking these off. So these are 5 by 5. No, they're 4 by 3/4 and 4 by 3/4, and then the pictures are 4 by 4, and and they're double matted. So let's go ahead and do that. So once again, I have gutted my paper. We're going to line it up and make sure I get things all straight. I'm going to put it like that. Okay, and you can see with my lines, and see that the lines aren't straight. I mean, you could put mint tape on the both, and you could be perfectly straight. But to me, I never sweat the small stuff. And you can see that I had to add to my lines because they weren't long enough. Well, this was actually my sample one, and then I decided I'm going to do both pages striped, and so I did. So here we go. I'm going to make sure that this is all lined up. And these leaves, I will, this is a retired set from Stampin' Up! That I got at a garage sale last weekend. And then the other one is from the hybrid. So, always looking for good garage sales. Here we go. So there we go. I'm super excited that Stampin' Up! Is going to change their packaging a little bit, because my problem is I live in I actually live with my children, so I have a room. I scrap in my room. It's all one room. But don't feel too sorry for me. It's I want to say it's a huge room. 12 by 12, 14 by 14, 16 by 16. It's big. So my son-in-law was saying, you know, the downstairs where you're at most of the time is bigger than your whole house. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess that's true. These aren't exactly lining up, but like I said, I don't sweat the small stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. So the challenge, this is Dana's challenge, and so she gives it to us once a month. Oh, and I was talking about packaging. The reason I'm happy about the packaging is because then I can fit more stuff. And you may or may not have heard that close to my heart, not close to my heart, Stampin' Up! Is no longer going to make the cling stamps, which I don't want to offend those of you who love cling stamps, but I'm not the world's best stamper, so I will not miss the cling stamps because I'm a photopolymer girl, and that way all of the stamps in the catalog after this mini, which is from till December, they will be all photopolymer. And I think I bought one cling stamp when I first came in, because I thought, well, I need to know how to use them. And actually, I never did learn how to use them too. My friend Tiffany always helped me out. So I'm going to put these down. So I'm putting my I'm putting them. I'm just kind of eyeballing this, just because I can. Okay. So, and I like the idea of this four color. I guess it's not 4 color. I like this grid. I love the grid pattern, and the fall colors. So this is crushed curry, which when I look at the color, I'm not a big fan of crushed curry, but I'm amazed at how often I put it in layouts because it is the perfect color, and it is the color of fall. And you put it with a little Cajun craze, and it is beautiful. So here we are on that. So these are 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. Dana might have made hers a little bit different. You could, if you have smaller pictures. I wanted mine to fit 4 by 4s because this is for Thanksgiving, and usually they're group pictures of a million people. So cropping them to a small picture can be difficult, so I just didn't do that. So and then the early espresso mat is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and of course my pictures are 4 by 4. And because this is Thanksgiving, I guess I shouldn't put that upside down. I'm going to put my little turkey on here, and then I'll show you the layout all together. And so yeah, so if you want any of these, this is also a Cricut die cut. I added the overlay. So if you are wanting to do an image, the reason I did this image like that, it's so much easier so this image was just this. It didn't have the second background. I find it hard to put them together if I don't do them with an overlay, and that's why I added an overlay. I also really try to get Cricut cuts that aren't a million pieces, because some of them are like putting a puzzle together. So, and I like puzzles, but not necessarily when I'm doing my crafting. So I'm going to pop dot this little turkey up here. This was just, I call it table confetti, and it matched perfectly, so I'm putting it on there. So this is my finished layout. I hope, Dana, I hope you pop by and we'll look at your inspiration. Oops, I do have to add a little bit of bling. Let's put some, just to match up what we have. And I should probably put, there could be a leaf here. This is what I call stuff that lands on my desk. Like I do so love fall. So I mean, I could put random leaves stuck underneath it. Now that makes it look like well, I will fuss around with it. I'm not going to have you watch me do that. But I have this table confetti. I call it table confetti because it's stuff that falls on my desk after my projects, and I just all stuff it into these little bags and use it on whatever layouts. That's where this one came from, and this one, and some of the smaller leaves came from previous projects that I just happened to have. See, I put them in a bag, even extra titles, so I put all of this in a bag, and then I can use it for a later project. Anyway, so thanks for joining me today. I hope you'll use some of these techniques. The ink painting, and it's so easy with these. I think using the spots was actually because I used it with the large the large stamp pads, and it's actually easier with these. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish that you would subscribe and hit the like button, and we will see you next time. I will include the titles if you want to snag some of those. Talk to you later. Thanks so much. Bye.